going to happen to them. For they shall be divided out of their homes and sent away into exile. And King Zotigak, or however you pronounce his name, shall go out at night through a hole in the wall, taking only what he can carry with him, with muffled face, for he won't be able to see. I will capture him in my net and bring him to Babylon, the land of the Chaldeans, but he shall not see it, and he shall die there. I will slaughter his servants and guards to the four winds. I will scatter, his servants and guards to the four winds, and send a sword after them. And when I scatter them among the nations, then they will know that I am the Lord. But I will spare a few of them from death by war and famine and disease, and I will save them to confess to the nations how wicked they have been, and they shall know that I am the Lord. So I'm going to stop reading there, and we're going to talk for a minute, and I'm going to be done. So my title today is, Who is Responsible? As we've been looking over this book of Ezekiel, from the very beginning, we see the prophet proclaim what thus said the Lord. And do you know right now God has told his people, he's told his leaders, he told his children, he's telling us right now things that are present and things that must come to pass. He's telling us that we must purify ourselves, sanctify ourselves, set ourselves apart from everything that's not like God. And when we looked at the other day, when we looked at, I believe that was chapter 9, when we looked at chapter 9 and we looked at chapter 10, God told them to put a mark on the foreheads of all the people who had separated themselves, because the angel was coming through and everything that wasn't marked was going to die. I want to say to you this morning, are you marked with holiness? Are you marked with sanctification? Are you marked with obedience? You never thought about being marked with those things, huh? Are you marked with righteousness? Because if you don't understand it, those things are your protection. Those things are the things that God uses to cover you. Those are the things that God will send his angel to protect you from the famine and from the disease and from the plague and from the war and from the destruction. And God will send his angels to protect you. Are you marked? But most people are too busy playing the buying game. Nobody wants to just say, I'm responsible. You know, sometimes we just don't want to take responsibility for our own mess. We don't want to take responsibility for our... Sometimes we're not responsible for some things, but a lot of times we are responsible for a lot of things. 99.9% of the time we are responsible. Every now and then we're not responsible. Because if not, God would never say, I hold you accountable. Right. If he's going to hold you accountable, that means you're responsible. He wouldn't hold you accountable for something you're not responsible for, now would he? That would be unjust. Right. So if he's going to hold you accountable, that means you're responsible. See, he held those people accountable for their actions. That's why he judged them. That's why everything you see that happened is because he held them accountable for their actions. But nobody likes to be held accountable. Nobody wants to be responsible. But I want to say to everybody today, I want to say to you in TV land, I want to say to you out on the internet, I want to say to you today, somebody needs to realize I got to take responsibility. All right. Amen. See, God can do something once you go ahead and take responsibility. Huh? Because once you take responsibility, you can change your behavior. You can change your mind. You can change where you're going. You might not can change where you've been, but you definitely can change where you're going.
Amen.
Huh? Somebody say you can start on a new path. You can go in a new direction. You can have a new life. You can let the God plan come forth in your life. But you got to take some responsibility. Who's responsible? I remember a long time ago, I told my daughter to clean up. I made her responsible to clean up. My oldest daughter, clean that up, Tiffany. Get that kitchen, get that stuff done, get that cleaned up. Well, she passes the buck. She tells one of her other siblings, do that for her. And she goes get into bed and go to sleep. Well, when I come home, it's not done. Now, where is the responsibility lies? It relies with the one I gave the order to.
Right.
So who room did I go in with the belt? The one I gave the responsibility. But she said something like to me, but I told, excuse me? See, that's how we think we can do God as I get ready to close. That's how we think we can do God. We think we can do God that way. Pass the buck. God don't play that, y'all. God don't play passing the buck.
Amen.
He didn't play with Adam and Eve in the garden. That's why they got kicked out. They had a perfect home and got kicked out.
Yeah.
Huh? They didn't even have to have jobs. Great weather. No thorns. No adultery, no fornication, no perversion, just each other. God said, do it up, multiply, fill the earth. I mean, come on. They had a perfect place. They had seas running, rivers running, and pearls and diamonds, all kind of stuff just off in the rivers, and sardis and I mean, they was rich beyond their wildest imagination. They had everything they could possibly want. I mean, they were in the perfect, everybody say perfect place. Perfect place. God made it perfect just for them. They could walk around butt naked, don't need no coats, no winter, nothing. And here they go. Sin. He said, if you eat of it, you shall surely die. People don't think fat meat's greasy. And it's greasy all the time. God said, you shall surely, the devil said, no. You can get involved in this, you won't surely die. You just gonna know good from evil. Do you understand God never intended for us to know evil, y'all? He only intended for us to know good. God never intended for us to hurt. He only intended for us to feel good. God never intended for us to suffer. He never intended for us to be sick. God never intended none of that for us. That wasn't God's perfect plan. God had a perfect plan, but nobody wants to take responsibility. And then homegirl eat, because she think, well, he said it'll make one wise. She don't understand. She wise as she ever gonna need to be. What the devil wanted her to know is what she found out later. She don't want to know. But it's too late. It's too late. It's too late. Then her hubby come along and say, hey, well, was it good? Here, I'll have some too. Oh, right, really? Okay. God come down. They didn't put some fig leaves on them. Hide the tree talking about we naked. God said, who told you you was naked? See, what they wasn't naked, y'all. They were clothed in his glory. They were clothed in his righteousness. They were clothed in his obedience. And what happened was they got stripped of their righteousness. They got stripped of their holiness. They got stripped of their obedience. They got stripped of everything that God had gave them. And now they are naked. Now they're naked for real. And now they don't even understand what they got stripped of. They're naked. They're naked. Naked as a jaybird now. Ain't got no glory no more. So God said, first of all, I'm going to kill this first and I'm going to get y'all some skin. Y'all quit wearing these leaves around. And then I'm about to put you out. Send some angels down, kick them out. And put some guardian angels, some swords up there, and don't let them come back in. They can't come back in here no more. Y'all. want to tell you, you don't know best. I'm going to say that again. You know, as people, we're arrogant. And we have the audacity to think we know best. You know what I'm saying? We have the audacity to think that we know. I know what's best for me. I know what's right for me. I just because you don't like it don't mean I have to. I know I can live like I want to live. Really? Really? You can. You can. That's why we got free will to go to hell. That's why we got free will to do whatever we want to. We got free will. As I close, we got free will. Hey, we got. Everybody said we got free will. I got free will.
Free will.
Yeah.
But I got one question for you. Is it really free?
No.
Is it really free? No. What it is you got psyched out. That's what happened. You don't have free will. Because if you have free will, you wouldn't have to take responsibilities for what your actions are. That's good. Think about that. Think about that. Think about it. Because if you had free will, there would be no consequences to your actions.
Right.
So that means you really, really don't have free will without consequences. I'm calling it a day. Calling it a day. So who's responsible?
We are.
Well, my mama didn't raise me right, but you raised, ain't you?
Yeah.
Who's responsible? But I was molested when I was a kid, and I hate men, and I hate this. But now, who's responsible? Well, they stole from me. Okay, but who's responsible? See, they're responsible for their actions, and you're responsible for yours. When you get to heaven, God's not going to judge you on theirs, and He's not going to judge them on yours. You are always responsible for your own actions. Stop that, Isaiah.